We are now going to launch the audio guides for Buttevant. This is a project we've been working on in conjunction with Abarta and TII nearly all this year. It was suggested by TII. They had such an interesting time here doing up the street works and giving Buttevant a makeover that it was a little present to the community to produce these audio guides for us. So I'd like to invite up Ken Hanley of TII and Neil Jackman of Abarta.
Thanks very much for being invited on today at the conference, and I'd like to thank Minister Stanton for agreeing to launch the Buttevant Heritage Trail audio guide. So I'm delighted to be here today on behalf of Transport Infrastructure Ireland, and I'm very impressed with the talks that have been going on this morning, and there's plenty of food for thought. Certainly TII Archaeology and Heritage sections are always very keen to explore what novel ways we can use our information that we hold from the various archaeological investigations over light rail and road projects over the years. And we do have a huge resource of archaeological stories to tell, and I would encourage all local communities to tap into that resource, and it's available to use. So the Buttevant Heritage Trail audio guide comes against a backdrop of extensive archaeological excavations that we're undertaking on the N20 Buttevant Street Scheme. And I would like to acknowledge the work of Rubicon Heritage Limited, Services Limited, and their excavation director, John O'Connor, and his highly skilled team. But their archaeological work identified significant medieval remains under the streets and footpaths of the town, and their discoveries include the foundation remains of the medieval town wall of Buttevant, including the North Gate Tower, as well as many other unique insights into the archaeology of Buttevant. Now, accounts of these discoveries are included in the audio guide that is being launched here today. An analysis and assessment of the archaeological works is ongoing, and in due course the TII, in partnership with Rubicon Heritage, will be publishing a very detailed book on the excavation results made. So from the outset, the Buttevant Heritage Guide was driven on behalf of the local community by the Buttevant Heritage Group. Now, in this regard, the group's chair, Tom Blake, and Secretary Anne Coughlin deserve special mention for coordinating the audio guide project. The group prepared a proposal for the guide that was submitted to Ronan Swan, Head of Archaeology and Heritage at TII, and Ronan was very impressed with the standard and the vision of the submission, and in particular the inclusion of so many stories about the historic fabric of the town. And the archaeological discoveries from the recent excavations seemed a perfect fit to the story. So as a result, TII was delighted to fund Neil Jackman from Abarta Heritage to produce an audio guide for the town. In terms of the audio guide, TII has had a very fruitful collaboration with Neil's talented team from Abarta Heritage on various other TII projects, and they're all, I think, this is the sixth audio guide now that TII funded with Abarta, and I'd encourage you to download from Abarta's website or TII's website. So once you've listened to the Buttevant Heritage Trail audio guide, tales from above and below, I think you'll agree that Abarta Heritage has yet again delivered a very high quality product. And on behalf of Transport Infrastructure Ireland, I commend them for that. Thank you very much.
Essentially, before I start, actually, I'd like to thank the Buttevant Heritage Group for inviting me along here. And it was a real pleasure to work on this one. When we started our company, myself and my wife, Roisin, back in 2012, we'd worked as archaeologists previously, and as you know, archaeology is very attached to development. So when the recession kicked in, we needed to look to other ways to how do we carry on telling the story of Ireland's heritage, and how can we carry on telling the story of the past. So we've produced at this stage over 30 guides, and as Trey said, one to Loop Head, one to Kilmallock, Abbeyleak, some of the places that we've heard about today. And everywhere you go in the country, every single town, pretty much around every corner in Ireland, there's a unique and incredible story, and we've been incredibly privileged to work with all of these different communities to tell them. One of the other guides that we've produced actually is one for Doneraile Park, and we're delighted now that we finally got the other side of the steeplechase, the world's first both ends. So that's been fantastic. This guide in particular was a real pleasure because it was all community driven. The insights from all the different members of the Buttevant Heritage Group and the broader community really formed a script. And you can actually hear the voices. We recorded them. We had a great day, thanks to Anne's warm hospitality and lovely scones. We had a great day actually recording people, telling the particular stories. And this audio guide's been listened to by hundreds of people from all around the world. I mean, what good is an audio guide? Essentially, in a sense, it's like a brochure, but you never need to reprint it. So it's fully available 24/7 around the world. So we've had people from America and everything else listening to it. And you know yourself now, when you look to go to a new place, one of the first things you do is research it online. So we've had lots of interaction from it. And I think the fact that the authentic voice of Buttevant is being heard now in America, Australia, Canada, and so on, it's a real testament to the hard work of Buttevant Heritage Group and the foresight of TII, actually, and the hard work of the archaeologists that found out some of these fantastic stories that exist from both above and below the streets of Buttevant. It was a real pleasure to work on, and again, I want to thank the group. I want to thank everyone here as well. Throughout our work, we've always been astonished by the dedication, the skills, the ability of volunteers around the country, and there's no amount of praise that can really do justice to the level of work that they do that makes islands communities better places to live, but also make it a much better place for visitors to live as well, and I think we can all see the benefits in that. So I'd like to thank everyone. If anyone has any questions on how to download it, it's absolutely free of charge. You can just use your mobile phone, that's the beauty of the whole thing. I'll be at the back of the room there. I'll be happy to show anyone who has an interest in doing it. There's leaflets around the place as well, so please do pick one up that explain how to use it as well. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be delighted to talk to you later. Thank you again.
So to ask Minister Stanton to say a few words now to launch our audio guide. Thank you, David.
Thanks very much, Tom. Deputy Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, I won't keep you long because I know it's getting late and everyone is hungry and so on. I think it's been a fantastic morning. I think it's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Somebody used the term how they go blown away. Well, I've been blown away by this. I know the Deputy Mayor has been as well. We were talking about it earlier on. It's just amazing. There's so much good things happening in our country. We have an amazing country, amazing people, amazing volunteers, amazing communities. And what has come across to me here is the importance of cooperation, working together, learning from each other, community. Can't get enough of it. It's really good. So well done to everybody, and well done to the Buttevant Heritage, Tom. Really brilliant. Well played. Outstanding. So again, I want to congratulate Ken from TII and Neil Jackman from Buttevant Heritage, who were involved in developing the audio guide with the group here. I listened to it last evening, and I was kind of pulled into it. I couldn't kind of stop really listening. You learn about people in the past, and you wonder, what would they think of Buttevant now 700 years later? If they came down the street and saw it. I drove through the town this morning. Lovely town, beautiful. I don't know. We all suffered the pain of the years of the work that went on. But my God, isn't it worth it now? Isn't it really good? Really good to see all the cables gone, nice lampstands, lovely streetscape, lovely place to visit. And I know there's a challenge now coming with the motorway, which was announced yesterday. That challenge is coming. In 5-6 years from now, Buttevant will be bypassed, and we've got to learn from Abbey Leaks and other places, and what we learned this morning from that. So we know the guide is available, fantastic guide. I'd encourage everybody here to listen to it, because you will learn, and like me, I hope you'll be pulled into it. So I know that there was €100,000 granted last week to the Heritage Group from the Town and Village Renewal Scheme, and I'll be bringing back the message today that I heard to government ministers about the need to help volunteers, support volunteers, and work with volunteers. I'll certainly be bringing that back. I know the minister earlier on was really impressed with what she heard and saw. She was sorry she couldn't stay longer. I'm sorry she didn't stay longer as well, but I'll be reporting back to her as to what happened here. So listen, well done everybody. Fantastic work, fantastic morning. Keep it up, don't give up. And I think, I certainly have learned a huge amount. I'm inspired. I think Sean said earlier on, we learned when we come in here, the different signs. I think we're going beyond positive. It's really good, Sean, isn't it? And so much happening, and we need to get the good message out. The good message out, the positive stories, not all the negative stuff. Get rid of that. We don't need that. Positive. I'm inspired by this morning. Well done, and keep it up, and thank you.